Picture this. You have had a full day, you are tired. You have asked your child to do one simple thing: get off the tablet, or maybe come to the table, or stop hitting your sibling. And instead of doing it, they escalate, they cry, they shout, they throw something, or they just shut down completely and they refuse to speak. And the thought that goes through your mind is, why are you doing this to me? That thought, why are you doing this to me, is completely understandable. It's also the thought that if you follow it, will lead you to the wrong responses almost every single time, because your child is not doing it to you. Your child is not a strategist plotting your frustration. Your child is a person in the middle of something you do not have tools to manage yet. And the behavior you are looking at is not the problem. It is just a signal. That is what we are talking about today. Welcome to the Family Circle Hub. My name is Ako Goigbe, and this is day 3 of our 30-day series. If you are new here, you do not need to have seen the previous videos to follow today, though I would encourage you to go back when you can, because day 3 actually works together. Okay, so today's conversation is one of the most practical, useful shifts I know. It doesn't require any tool, any new tool. It does not require any special training. It requires one change in how you read what you are seeing when your child behaves in a way that is difficult. That one change will alter what you do next, and what you do next is what either builds the relationship or chips away at it. Most of us were raised to see difficult behavior as a choice. The child is misbehaving, the child is being stubborn, the child is disrespectful, the child knows better and is choosing not to do better. From that reading, the logical response is correction, punishment, consequences. Get the behavior under control. And there are times where a child does make a choice and needs to experience the consequences of it. Yes, that is real. We will talk about correction properly later in this series. Here is what that reading misses entirely. It treats the behavior as the thing itself, when the behavior is almost never the thing itself. It is what the behavior is pointing to that matters. A child who hits is communicating something. A child who refuses to cooperate is communicating something. A child who melts down at what seems like nothing is communicating something. They are not doing it clearly. They are not doing it in a way that it's easy to receive. And they may not even know themselves what they are even trying to say. But something is happening underneath the surface, and that something is the actual issue. If you only ever address the surface, the hitting, the refusal, the tantrum, you manage the symptom without even touching the cause. The behavior changes temporarily, yes, or changes in one place and appears somewhere else, but the thing underneath it has not been seen. It hasn't. So here is something worth understanding about children that changes the way you interpret what you see. The part of the brain responsible for rational thinking, impulse control, decision making is the last part of the brain to fully develop. Research in neuroscience is clear on this. That part of the brain is not fully matured until a person reaches their mid-20s. A child between 0 and 12 years old, the structure is still being built. It is not broken, it is incomplete. Which means when your child is in a heightened emotional state, maybe frightened, frustrated, overwhelmed, embarrassed, they genuinely cannot access that rational, calm part of their thinking the way an adult can. The emotional response take over and the reasoning shuts down. Dr. Daniel Siegel, whose work we touched in day 1, now describe it in this way. When your child is flooded with emotion, they have in effect lost access to the upper part of their brain, the part that can think, reflect, and make considered decision. What they are operating from in that moment is the lower reactive part, the part that responds to threat. To that child, in that moment, something feels threatening. It may not look threatening to you as a parent. It may be something that seems entirely minor, but inside that developing nervous system, something has registered as unsafe, unfair, too much, or out of control, and they are responding accordingly. So this is not an excuse for every behavior, right? As your child grows, you do teach them how to manage their emotions, how to communicate, how to handle frustrations appropriately. That is the part of the work of parenting. But you cannot teach those things effectively in the middle of a meltdown, can you? No. You can only teach them once the child is calm. And to get the child calm, you first have to understand what you're dealing with. When your child behaves in a difficult way, most parents ask, how do I stop this? That is the wrong first question. The right first question is, what is my child trying to tell me? It sounds simple, right? It is not always easy, especially when you are tired as a parent, especially when you are in a public, especially when the behavior is the same thing for the fourth time this week. But asking that question, even internally, even briefly, redirect your attention from the surface to the root. Is my child hungry? Thought about that. Tired? Has something happened today that is unsettled or unsettled them at school, maybe with friends or something they heard or overheard? Is there a change in the home they have not yet processed? Is there something they want that they do not know how to ask directly? Psychologist Rose Green, who spent decades working with children whose behavior was labeled as defiant or explosive, built his entire framework on one premise: children do well if they can. His research and the work of many who followed consistently found that children who appear to be choosing to behave badly are most often children who are lacking a skill. The skill of emotional regulation, the skill of communicating a need, the skill of managing frustration, not the will to behave well, actually not. This is a significant reframe. It shifts your role from enforcer to a problem solver, and it shifts the relationship from adversarial to collaborative. So please listen carefully. I'm not asking you to accept every behavior from your child without correction. I am asking you to change the sequence. So before the correction, before the consequences, before the raised voice, before the long explanation of why what they did was wrong and all of that, pause for like 10 seconds and ask yourself one question. What is my child trying to communicate right now that they do not have the words for? You will not always, get the answers immediately. Sometimes you will not get it at all. But the pause itself changes your energy. And your child's nervous system is reading your energy before it hears a single word you say. A calm parent does not guarantee a calm child. But a regulated parent gives thy regulated child the best possible chance of finding their way back to calm. That is not softness, it's just a strategy. So I need you to try this today. The next time your child does something that frustrates you, take 10 seconds before you respond. Just 10. Not to say nothing, but to choose what to say. Come back and tell me in the comments what happened. Tomorrow, I'll continue. See you then.
Family is a blessing we hold dear.